All right, welcome back to another video. Today's Tuesday. So we're hopefully gonna get back into major schedules. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, new videos. And I think we're gonna try to shorten the videos just a bit, like maybe one story each video, except for Sunday, which is gonna be Breslov history, Siach Sarfi Kodesh. Well, I think we're going to keep it short, like 5 to 7 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Try that. Again, also, I'm not sure if I'm looking in the right place in this camera because I'm just, trying to figure that out too. So today is Chafei Tishrei, which is the yahrzeit of Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. I've already said stories before about him, so I'm not going to say the story about him today, but one thing that is good to know about that is that Rabbi Menachem said in Sefer Chaim Ran, he said in Yiddish, I'm not sure about in Yiddish, but basically the translation into English is basically, he was saying, he's like, you guys don't know this, but when the Berditchever Rav says the word Hashem, fire comes out of his eyes. So we're dealing with a very, very holy and a very, very holy person. And people say, to say Lev Yitzchak ben Sarasasha, B'schus Lev Yitzchak ben Sarasasha. So today's video is B'schus Lev Yitzchak ben Sarasasha. Should be good. So today, I'm just going to read one story over here, which is about Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. Okay, so let's read the story. I haven't really read through the whole thing yet, so I'm not really sure exactly what's going to happen. But that's always fun. So let's see. So, in the days of Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk, the evil king, the evil people who ran wherever they lived over there, made a very, very big decree on the Jews that any Jewish girl who gets who wants to get married, right? So before she gets married, she's gonna have to pay 400 pieces of gold, which is a lot, or whatever, 400 zehuvim, I'm not sure if that means pieces of gold, whatever the money back then, 400 of those things, okay, which is a lot of money. Only the rich people had that type of money, and even them, like, they can only do like once in their lives. If they have one daughter, if they have like 5 daughters, it's not going to happen. So why do they do this? Because these evil people, the evil government, wanted these Jewish girls to sit in their house forever until their hair becomes white. That's how they refer to it, and they won't get married and bring more, Jewish children into the world. And also the boys won't be able to find, obviously, so maybe they wanted to, end the Jewish race, whatever it was. So this was very, very stressful for all the Jews, right? They were not able to, stand in this, with this, money and everything like that. And a lot of people were not getting married, and it was very, very bad. It was very sad. People were crying and davening, everything like that, right? Fine. So that's the background of the story. So now in this little village next to Lizhensk, there was one Jew who was a very, very fearful of heaven Jew. He was a very, very holy Jew, but he was very poor. And he had a daughter that already became the age to get married. And somebody made a good shidduch for her. A bacher who was a lamdan, a hirei shemayim. He had a lot of good midos, right? And he also agreed to marry her with like a little bit of money, meaning like, because she was poor, right? Like he could barely give her any money for the wedding. Okay, fine, so they're gonna get married, but obviously the main problem is that before they close the shidduch, right, they made, this gezerah was made, that they have to pay this 400 thing, right? And the father for sure did not have any of this money to do that. He barely had any prutas b'chlal, right? So now everybody was in major tsar. They were about to get engaged and everything like that, and then all of a sudden this gezerah comes. Okay. So he was very confused. He was very sad. He didn't want to lose the shidduch, obviously, because then his bitoy would be in aguna. She'll never get married because, he doesn't have any money for that. I don't know what it means like aguna in a literal sense, but yeah. This is basically like a once in a lifetime chance for her, So he decided to go to Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk and to talk to him about what's going to be. So when he came to the house of the Rebbe, he started crying and everything like that, right? He said to his Rebbe, he said, Rabbeinu, I want to make a beis din with Hashem. I want to take Hashem to beis din. And when they heard, and when he heard his ears say these words come out of mouth, because he was in such tsar that he just said this, right? These are very, very intense words to say. He was very full of tsar that he was like, that he made a mistake by saying this, that he said words towards Hashem, very chutzpahdik type of words. He had a lot of azes panim, right? So he thought that the Rebbe was going to give him like this big punishment, and he's going to have to go back home and nothing's going to work. But the Rebbe said, okay, stand here. And you said that your ratzon is to take Hashem to a din Torah, right? But he said, but Rav Elimelech said to him, but you have to know what they say, what Chazal say. Al tihi tan yichidi. Don't let there be one judge, right? He basically was saying to the guy that there basically has to be three people. It can't only be one judge, which is going to be Rav Elimelech, right? So go and call two other guys from the judges of the city. Tell them to come and, in my name, that they're going to come to this beis din, like a very serious Indian, and then we're going to do it. So when this poor person who came to Rav Elimelech heard this, right, and he saw that the Rebbe was not angry, and he wasn't screaming at him, right, he had no choice, and he went to fulfill what the Rebbe said to do, and he went and he got two other people to come and be the judges. Right? And when they came, so now they all sat down, and Rav Elimelech said to the poor person, open your mouth and let's hear what your tainas are. Let's hear what your claims are. So with a shaky voice and a fearful voice, he started talking about Hashem gave us his Torah and all the mitzvahs, right? And the first mitzvah in the Torah, which is in this week's parsha, is the mitzvah of Puravu, right? To have children, right? Vayomer lahem Elokim Peru Urivu, right? And now you guys know that the king made this gezerah that nobody's able to marry that the girls are not able to get married unless they pay this 400 pieces of gold or whatever it was, right? And because of this gezerah, that all these girls are going to be, they are never going to get married. And I'm also one of these that my daughter already got old, and I have this shidduch, and now it's going to be ruined because of this gezerah. And I don't want my daughter to stay, single for the rest of her life, right? So he said. Finally, he finished and he said, my claim is, how could Hashem command us to fulfill this mitzvah if we can't fulfill it? Right? And this is the first mitzvah. Right? So he's saying basically, if Hashem wants us to, this is just the first mitzvah of and he's basically saying to Hashem, he's like, how could you take away this mitzvah from us? If you want us to do it, then you have to cancel this gezerah, right? That's what you're saying. So now when this poor person finished his taina, Rav Elimelech said, right? Now we have to go out and we have to, speak about this taina. We have to figure out the judgment. What's he saying over here? Sorry, I didn't do this. I should have read the story before, right? Right. So now, what's the thing now? So the way it works in a court case in the Jewish law is that they have to go out now. All the different judges, the 3 judges, have to go out and discuss it, but not in front of this person, not in front of the person who's making the claim. But since Hashem fills the whole entire world and there's nowhere empty of Him, so because the Balei Din have to leave the room, right? But Hashem can't leave the room. So therefore we have to leave, you in the room too. So after he said this, Rav Elimelech sat down, and he was thinking like very, very deep, in his thoughts and deep in the judgment. And then after a little bit, he opened up his eyes and he bought Masechtas Gittin. He said, "Bring me a Masechtas Gittin." Omar, and he said to open up the daf of Mem Aleph Be'inyan Mi Shechetze Eved V'Chetze Ben Chayrin. Somebody who was half an Eved and half a free person, meaning that he was owned by 2 different people, and one freed him and one did not, and one kept him as a slave. So now he's Chatzi. So what's his din? And the halacha, the psach halacha is koifin as rabbi v'oisais ben chayrin. We have to, that we force the other guy to make him free. Once he's already free from one side, we make him free from the other side too. So, and the Rebbe read the words of the Mishnah. It says, "Mipnei tikkun olam," for the fixing of the world. For tikkun olam, we force his master and we make him free. Right? So now the Rebbe continues and he says, because Hashem didn't create the world, right, to be empty, right? Hashem created the world to be settled and to have people live in it and to have children and to continue on the life. So after looking into the sugi and everything like that, I came to the maskana that this taina of the ani has a basis in halacha, has a basis in the Gemara, and the maskan is that we force the we force the master to make him a ben chayr. And then the Rebbe said to the poor person, go back to your city and to your house, and there's no suffix that Hashem Yisbarach will be masking with us in this psak din. Kivar biragam ele hu mevatel es gezeres hakeser. Already in these seconds, he is going to cancel out this evil decree. And it was true. The ani went back to his village, and right away it came the shmua that the gezerah was mevatel, and that was that. So this story actually is interesting, as I mentioned before, that the Berditchever, it was the Berditchever's yahrzeit today, and he also has very similar stories about people coming in and making a beis din kibyachol to talk to Hashem about certain things. I don't want to say tainas against Hashem, but whatever. And it's the same type of story here. So there's a power of people, to talk and doing things. And Menachem also mentions when you do explain this, it's like you're kind of conquering Hashem. You're like putting words and you're saying things, and Hashem has a lot of happiness from that. So that's the story for today. And Thursday we will meet back here and say over some more stories, hopefully. And we're just going to keep on going with this project, no matter how many people watch. But if you are watching, please share, send tips, send stories, send whatever you got. Chai.